Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy. And the painting I'm bringing you today is called Summer Path. It's an 8x10, and I completed this a couple days ago, but I started it a year ago. Yeah, I'm looking at the date in the section we're doing right now. That was June of 2022. And so that underpainting has been sitting there. It doesn't sit there and look at me the whole time. But it's been in my drying rack area, usually behind other things, just waiting for its day. And I thought, I've had this actually before I even did the drawing, which you see me doing now. Looks like I'm using some burn umber and black here. Um, I had the reference photo sitting in my place where I keep those things on a hard drive, in my mega folder, for maybe a year before that. I thought this image had some potential. I thought the image had some potential, but it's weird. These trees are kind of odd. The whole painting is just a little different, but I did like the drawing. I thought so. The challenge with this kind of thing is like really a lot of complexity. If you looked at the reference image, which by the way you can see in the members area, check that out. Join the members area if you want the live videos. That's this one's like maybe, I don't know, 3 hours long. We can see the reference. Also, when I'm bringing that reference up, I'm talking about all the potential challenges in it, and even seeing the challenges, I may or may not be able to rise to the occasion. The challenge with this sort of scene, of course, is the massive amounts of simplification and designing that are required to take on this sort of subject. And I won't say this is the most massive success ever, but it's a successful painting and I'm happy with it. And I have to say that given my personal history with this sort of scene and this sort of subject matter, I'm very proud of what I did. Because I had year after year of just failing on this kind of scene. Now, you're going to see, actually, it almost splits up. You're going to see the ad for the book coming up. Oh, don't worry, it's a ways off. But after the ad for the book, we jump into the modern era. And one of the things that kind of triggered me revisiting it was, I thought, I should just change up the colors in that original image. Which was all very, very green. Very green, a little bit of sky, a little bit of gray in the path, and not that inspiring. So I just put up a video, I believe this is the one, in the members area, where I showed how I retooled this coloration on this image. So if you are actually, I would have discussed this in the second portion of the members area video, but yeah, definitely check that out if you're a member, because I think it's, even if you might say, I don't care about Photoshop, I don't want to do all that, I just won't paint. Okay, well, that's fine. I could totally see that, and there's lots of ways to create a painting and to adjust reference images, and like you could have, say, you're printing things out or cutting things out of magazines or whatever. You could just have several different images taped up to your reference area place, and go from there. Let your imagination, drive. And that's part of the creation process. For me, with my background, many of you know, and many of you may not know, I was a commercial illustrator for pretty well paid, quite successful, for 13 years, from 97 to 2010. And it was a great experience, but most everything I did was usually started in the, like I would do my pen and ink work or brush and ink work outside the computer, scan it in. All the coloring and painting was usually done in the computer. And so I'm very, very proficient with these programs. I know how to use them. I know how to get results. But one of the reasons I got away from using the digital world as the end of the process, now it's just the beginning of the process, is several reasons. One, you can see with the rise of the AI art, and the awesome things coming out of there, that things coming just about, in fact, recently I'm on Twitter. You can follow me there if you want. It's M. Francis Painter. Um, I only put up one sort of negative post there. Everything else is just artwork, but just complaining about all the stuff showing up in my feed that is AI art, but you can't quite tell, and no one's saying, you know. I think people should say, hey, this is AI art. I'm putting this up like I did something. But what they did was type a sentence, and good on them. I'm sure there's an art to that, and no doubt as we traipse on into the future, a lot of people will be defining themselves as, sentence artists interacting with AI. And in a sense, I'm sort of in a kind of middle territory because I will extensively manipulate my reference images using digital means, which, it's not AI, but it's definitely digitally enhanced. There's a lot of things you can do in the digital realm that are very, very difficult to do in the analog world. So, as an aside, basically I reset the colors from that original, which I messed with quite a lot, but didn't actually move out of the green. And you might run into this with a lot of your reference images. You take in a picture, you think the composition's cool, but just looking at the scene, it's green bushes, green trees, green grass, gray path or tan path, a blue sky. What are you going to do with that? How many awesome paintings are you going to make with those colors? Yes, it's possible, and if you look through the channel, you can see I can do the green thing all day long, and I can make it interesting too. But if that's all you're doing, it's going to get old quick. You've got to change up those colors. And one of the ways I have a lot of ideas about that, and that's why I wrote a book. Whoa, what a great segue. If you haven't bought my book yet, you really should. It's $60 US. Now that ain't cheap. But one of the reasons, so I'm not making a lot of money on it. It's not why the price is that high. The price is that high because I have to deal with international shipping from out here in New Zealand, which is very, very far away from every other place and a little backward in many ways. Still sort of, nominally a Western democracy, but, after that COVA thing, it was the shipping really got affected. Anyway, check out that book. Get it if you don't have it, and I think you'll love it. Especially if you're interested in the kind of work I do, if you're interested in tonalism. Now, this is a tonalist painting, but I've been playing a lot with more obvious brush strokes in my work, like a la your Van Gogh. Not that I'm going full Van Gogh on you. You'll see it manifest here. And that's something I've been playing with for a long time. But usually I end up obfuscating the strokes so that it's not very obvious, or maybe I just leave a little bit of it. But this painting, I decided, since it was so experimental, that I would just embrace a good amount of that. And you can see as we're progressing that that's what I did. And yeah, I'm real happy with it, actually. The thing is with as you bring in more obvious brushwork, it will change the way the artwork is apprehended. There's so many aspects to painting. It's very broad. You hear me talk a lot about composition because faulty composition is going to be one of the main ways that you're going to fail. But you can fail with your brush strokes. You can fail with bad colors that don't jive. You can fail with your values being skewed. You can fail just by you're not actually representing things, or either overworking things or underworking them. And this kind of scene, like I said at the beginning of the video, can be very challenging because, like where these bunches of foliage overlap the sky, in the reference image you got hundreds of thousands of, well, maybe thousands of individual leaves and clumps of leaves in those areas. And so if you were an inexperienced painter trying to handle that, it can be tough. It can be really tough. And even for someone experienced like myself, it can be tough. You can start to question things and have some self-doubt. Fortunately, because of the amount of experience I have, I already know it's like, nah, you can't just do 100 little dots there. That isn't going to pull off the. It isn't going to work. It isn't going to function as a painting. Um, so obviously, I took the approach that I did, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's successful. And one of the things I really like about this painting is the way, in the original reference, the grass was a bright green. But when I retooled things using the process that is in the members area video, the digital process, all the grass turned yellow, and that was just the difference that was needed. I brought in the greens in the trees, but then I had some yellow grass, which definitely made things more interesting, right? Um, yeah, so here we are at winding down the video. Gonna like 4 minutes or so. I've been just finished watching a video on YouTube about creativity and David Bowie, and one thing that David Bowie was saying was like, he's like, never give the audience what they expect or what you think they expect or what you think they want. He says that'll be guaranteed to be the worst work you ever do. And that can be, even if I got a reasonably not very big channel here on YouTube, but people know about it and look at it, and I'm appreciative of that. But sometimes I do things that are a little different, and you have to follow that muse. Like talking about the brushstroke thing, it might be jarring to some people that aren't used to seeing that. And you could go, well, geez, that isn't what I normally do, and so I better not do it. Otherwise, I won't retain an audience. Not that I would ever even conceive like that. But these ideas could cross your mind, and if they do, forget about it, And the funny thing is, back when the channel was 100 subscribers, you might have even worried more about that than I do where I'm now. I think I'm pretty close to 5,000. It's been slower to add on subs as we troll on down the lane. But fine with it, I am, because just making my point. What I present to you here is what I'm doing, And if you're digging it, you'll watch it. And if you want something else, you'll watch something else. And that's the strength that you must have as an artist functioning in the modern world, especially with all the social media. And I made the point, I think, where did I make the point? I think it was on my last video that's up. I'm not on Instagram. I am on Instagram. You say, what are you talking about, Mike? I follow you on Instagram. Yeah, but I'm not there. My wife puts everything up on Instagram. I don't like going to Instagram. Instagram's chock-a-block with amazing artists, which is fine. It's great. And yes, you can get some inspiration, but here's a concept for you. Don't get too crazy with that stuff. You don't need infinite amounts of inspiration. You're better off hunkering down and getting busy with one or two artists that are inspiring you, and really trying to delve into what it is about their work that you think could help you improve your work. What is it? What is in the soul of their work that you could bring into what you're doing and make it better, make it stronger, right? I'm very much into having influences, but in a targeted way. I don't need to, I don't know if you've experienced this. We still got a minute left here. You go to a museum, and everything you see, you go, God, that's what I want to do. Well, the problem is you're looking at the work of 20 different artists. You're not going to be able to do that, But maybe you can relate to that. I certainly, in fact, last time I went to France, I went to the Louvre. I just covered up the side of my vision until I got to the landscape rooms, because you only have so much juice, you only have so much that you can take in. Of course, people that aren't sensitive that way, that aren't artists, maybe don't actually understand that. But if you're an artist, you should know what I mean. It's like, and it's the same thing with the Instagrams out there. You've got 200 brilliant bits of work flying by you. Maybe you still have a lot of self-confidence. You can go, well, yeah, I'm good too. You don't need it. Just focus in on a few. Get a book. like they used to do in the old days. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing this bit of a different painting for me, and a bit of the story of how I put it together. It's for sale in my store. It'll be a nice fair price. And until I come back with another video for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself. Take very good care of yourself, your mental health, your physical health, and your family. Your family is nothing more important than family. Take care of them, look after them. And while you're doing all that, stay out of trouble. And God bless you and your family.